First, I want to thank all of you that are joining us in this conversation. It is an important conversation for me and for us. Talking about storytelling, it is always important that we learn what are the best way for us to be able to communicate to our audience, the people that we are talking to. This is important. We are looking for the best way to become more effective, because storytelling for business is different from other type of storytelling. It is not about cock and bull story. It's not just about occupy dead time. It is. It has to do with a lot of intentionality. That when you tell story for within the business environment or within the business ecosystem, there are usually the KPI in that you have element to be able to measure whether your story is working or not working. I'm saying that to me that when you are in a business environment, your storytelling should be intentional and it need to be effective. Because if it is not effective, you're not going to get something out of it at the end of the day. You might have wasted your time and also waste the time of other people that are listening to you. And of course, you don't want to do that if you are in business, because in business, time is money. Time is everything. You never want to waste your time, and you never want to waste other people's time. There are, of course, different elements to be able to master our storytelling, which is this storytelling series is coming from a research that I did here in Northern Italy, looking at the life of Africans living here. So I started to collect their data for a couple of years. I started in 2013, which I did for more than 8 years. And then at the end of the day, what I really gathered is that there is a lot of information that I'm putting together here. Why don't I just organize it in a way that somebody can also maybe leverage it, the person that might not necessarily be where I am. So that is how the book series started. And that was 2023. And then I wrote this book, which was a little lengthy, as it were, looking at my demography, which is the African diaspora community. I understand also what is about the Rudy culture is not very high. I know that it generally have fallen all across, but in my community, it is not very high. So I say, if I give somebody a book to read, and this book happens to be maybe like 800 pages, it's going to be discouraging. So what I did then was to break it down into smaller pieces so that you can take up the book and actually read it in a few evenings. So that is how we came up with 5-part book series known as the Storytelling Mastery. And this book, you can, of course, get a copy of it on our website, aclasses.org, or you can also get a copy at my personal website, which is obehi.com. In fact, you can even get a free chapter to read so that you know how I write. Maybe the way I write might not work for you, because I am not writing for everybody. I'm writing for a specific audience. Maybe the way I write might not necessarily be the way that you like to consume information. So that before you buy the book, maybe you just get a free chapter. It's free. I don't think it's freer than be free. So you read for yourself. If you like it, then get a copy of it and read. And of course, within our practices, we have different opportunity for you if you are in business. We could help you to understand how to use storytelling in your work. We could help you to set up your business online, for example. By that I mean, maybe you don't have a website, you need us to build a website for you. That is part of our package. Maybe you also are a very busy person, you don't have the time to be able to create your content. We can also help you with that, because we have a team of experts from different parts of the world who are working with us to be able to bring solution to the business environment. We are putting something valuable in the marketplace. It might also be that maybe you are in business, you don't have anything that you are offering just now. It might be that you are a coach. You want to be able to make more money from what you are doing, so that instead of the one-on-one service, you want to create something that can be there for you, so that somebody you have a one-on-one conversation with this individual, and you come to understand that this person needs a kind of the basic understanding of how your coaching services work before you can go on a full-blown coaching program with him or her. You might decide to tell him or her, hey, there is a program for you, because this we already have designed in, it's already available on your website. You just send the person a link to buy that. is take that as a basis of what you do. So we help you to set up this, and we also help you to set up an intensive training program in form of maybe course or things like that. So these are some of the things that we do, of course, leveraging the power of storytelling, so that in case this is something that might be good for you or you are looking for, why don't you can reach out to us at aclasses.org or reach out to me, DM me. I will let you know if what we have can work for you. All right, coming to what we have today, we're going to be talking about the power of hypnosis in storytelling, and I have experts with me who are going to help me, or who are going to help us understand how to leverage the power of hypnosis. And hypnosis, anyway, I'm not even going to to try and define it, because I'm not an expert in hypnosis. They are expert in it, and they will help us to understand that. We do have, of course, time limit for each and every person that is speaking. We're going to give 30 minutes for each speaker. When each of them have spoken, we will have a Q&A section, so that maybe somebody have a question to ask, or maybe we want to clarify part of the conversation. That is when we will have the time to be able to do that. And of course, this room is being recorded, because we, in our way that we create content, we make sure that it is available for people to consume, so that even though you are not free to join us now live, you can also see it later and let us know what you feel, because what is important for us is the value, and the value needs to be there for you. If you find it valuable, just let us know, so that we even know if what we are doing here is just a waste of time. So that also is very important. Well, the first speaker today, or the first lecturer, I would like to call it, is Amanda Craven. Thank you so much, Amanda. So the floor is to you. Please share with us what you have today in terms of hypnosis for storytelling.
Okay, thank you, Obehi, for the introduction, and thank you for the invitation to talk today. So, Obehi, can you see this screen? Because now everything else has disappeared for me.
Yeah. We can see it.
Okay, all right, fantastic. So, a very warm welcome to you on today's topic, which is all about already having no problems, understanding your inner voice for effective communication in your business, because it is essential to find your authentic voice in order to have longevity and success in your business. So we're going to be talking particularly about unlocking the subconscious part of your mind for authentic expression, using hypnosis, using clinical hypnosis or hypnotherapy. So before we go on, a quick look and clarification about what hypnosis is. There are a lot of misconceptions and a lot of ideas that can put people off. So I think it's really useful to clarify that. One of my favorite definitions, very simple, of the state of hypnosis is a heightened state of suggestibility and focused attention. It's very, very simple, and it's actually a state that each and every one of us slip in and out of each and every day, multiple times a day. It is that state of mind that you will find yourself in if you are really engrossed in a book. Obehi's just been talking about storytelling, reading stories, hearing stories. Sometimes we get so drawn in that we are in that storyline and we don't even notice what's going on around us. So although we may be in a busy place, we may be in a room, we have no awareness of what is around us because we are so focused on the story. It could also be a film, for example. And sometimes when we're traveling, we may find ourselves at our destination and suddenly think, oh, wow, I just don't remember that journey, whether we were driving or sitting in a train or a plane. We seem to have gone elsewhere. What happened, in fact, was that we went inside, we went into our subconscious, and we were unaware of what was going on around us. But just to reassure anybody who is worried by that aspect of hypnosis, if something did happen, say you're driving along and have dipped into your subconscious in this hypnotic state, and something happened, somebody ran in front of your vehicle, you would come out of that hypnotic state and respond to any danger. So you are not permanently stuck in this place where you are highly focused on what is in your subconscious at that point. And this state of mind also means that we are more suggestible than at other times in the day. So this is why using hypnosis to tap into our subconscious, and we're going to talk about what specifically our subconscious is in a few moments, but it means that we are able to work more quickly and more effectively with what is in there because of this state of suggestibility that is heightened in hypnosis. So I've touched on a couple of the misconceptions in what I've just said, one of them being that we can get stuck in hypnosis and we can't come out, that we are dragged into a comatose state. And this isn't the case. As I've said, hypnosis is a natural state of mind, and we don't usually, for the cases of therapy, of hypnotherapy, we don't go into a deep state of hypnosis where we are unable to move or to talk. Occasionally, that state can be induced, and it has been possible to have medical operations on people who have had no anesthesia, but who have been hypnotized in order to have some surgery and not feel any pain. But we're talking about hypnotherapy and accessing your inner voice through clinical hypnosis, and we don't need to go that deep in order to heal what's inside and recover and uncover your inner voice. So hypnotherapy is the harnessing of the state of hypnosis as a tool for accessing the subconscious mind, for healing wounds, for overcoming obstacles that have muted or dumbed down your voice, so that you can reclaim your voice, reclaim your power, and go on to successfully communicate with your clients, with the people in your network. So the subconscious mind is the image of an iceberg is quite a nice way of demonstrating that. So when we have an iceberg, we see the top part above the waterline. It's the same with our mind. Our conscious mind, the part of our mind that we use for day-to-day conversations and communication, is just the tip of the iceberg, between 5 and 10% of our total mind. This means that the rest, the other 95%, is below that waterline or below our level of conscious awareness. So in our subconscious mind are stored all our life experiences that we have ever had. And instead of just remaining above that conscious level of thinking, using hypnosis, using that state I've just described, we are able to go into our past, our hurts, our obstacles, those limiting beliefs we may have absorbed from other people, and rewrite them so that we can release our inner voice. I'm going to show you with another diagram what I mean by that. So the orange line at the top is like the water line on the iceberg image. So above that is our conscious level of thinking. Below the orange line is our subconscious, and this is where everything that we have ever experienced is stored. Every thought, feeling, sensation, smell, sound, reaction, situation we've encountered, all this is stored in our subconscious mind. But when we experience adversity, when we experience trauma, for example, and I'm a specialist in trauma work and helping people repair their wounds from trauma and toxic relationships. But this is where those beliefs and those experiences are stored. And when we are faced with trauma, quite often we lose our voice because we have realized that to be our authentic self puts us in danger. So in order to appease the abuser, if we are being abused in some way, physically or emotionally or in any form, then we dumb down, we mute ourselves, and we adapt who we are, how we talk, what we say, in order to keep safe. But we are now adults. We have a voice. We have a voice that matters. So by using hypnotherapy, you can heal those wounds and you can release that voice so that you can communicate from your authentic self. And once you've healed the wounds, you know that it is safe for you to do so now. It wasn't safe in the past, and this is why you muted that voice. But now you're free, and that's what we can help you with in hypnotherapy. So this authentic voice is really important. Authenticity is the cornerstone of long-term business and other connections. It is responsible for longevity. In order to have a sustainable business and professional activity, we need to be authentic. We need to make sure that what we do, what we say, what we offer in terms of services and products is in alignment with our true values and beliefs. And we can only do that if we have worked through the limiting beliefs and the wounds that we inherited in our past. So that's exactly why it can be tricky, because we may have absorbed limiting beliefs that belonged to somebody else, or a way of being that we adopted in order to keep safe, as I just explained. But hypnotherapy can help you understand where that voice is. It is still there within you, and unlock it. And hypnosis acts as a bridge, bridging that gap between what happened in the past and where you are now. But it also enables you to rebuild the bridge, perhaps in a better place, so that it's leading you to where you feel you should be, you need to be, in order to project your voice onto the world and to share the wisdom that you have within you, to unlock that inner wisdom. So we've looked at what the subconscious mind is, what hypnosis is. In practice, hypnotherapy is a very gentle, although it's very deep reaching, very powerful, it's a very gentle therapy. Personally, I now only work over Zoom, occasionally on the phone, just using audio. But having done both in-person and remote work, I can honestly say that both ways of working are equally powerful. It is just personal preference as to whether somebody feels more comfortable in a room with their therapist, or whether they're happy to be in their own environment, in their bedroom, in their office, in their living room, and do the therapy from there. What is important is that you find a therapist who you have a good rapport with. And there are never any guarantees that any therapist will be able to help you unlock your inner voice for your storytelling, for your business success. But if you have certain ingredients, and I name 3 key ingredients in place, then there is no reason why you won't be able to reach your goal of unveiling and releasing your voice. So those ingredients are having that all-important rapport with your therapist, really, really wanting to find your voice again so you can tell your story, so you can make your narrative authentic. And thirdly, that you trust in the process of hypnosis. And if you have chosen a reputable hypnotherapist who you trust, then you will be open to them guiding you through the therapy and the process. So very gentle, very powerful, using different relaxation techniques in order to create that state of hypnosis I mentioned right at the beginning, which is where you can access the root causes of why you don't feel that your voice is as empowered and as far-reaching as it deserves to be. Once you've done this, you can embrace your authentic self. And the success stories just blow me away each and every day that I work. One example of a businessman that I worked with is somebody who was bullied in his early years. He suffered childhood trauma, and in his business and personal life, whenever he had to stand up and talk, tell his story, or give a presentation, he just crumbled inside and often used crutches such as having a drink before he did, before he spoke, or just feeling really uncomfortable and making a mess of communicating his valuable message. But once we had worked through that early trauma and given him his voice back, he just flew. And he felt so good, and he was complimented so many times on delivering empowering presentations. Even a best man's speech at his best man's wedding just went like a dream, because he had found his inner voice and he believed that he had something to say. His message was just as important as anybody else's, and he had his unique spin on his story that he wanted to share with people. In my own situation, I have been a victim of narcissistic abuse, and so I dumbed down my voice. I muted my message because I realized that if I continued to speak my truth, there were consequences, not just for me, but on everybody in my family. So I stopped speaking my truth. And it's only through work on myself and extracting myself from that toxic relationship that I have once again found my voice and know that I have important messages to deliver that are going to help make people's lives better. So it is such a powerful process and so worthwhile, because each and every one of us, of you watching this, have a message and have a unique inner wisdom that you deserve to unlock and the world deserves to hear. So important, so empowering. So, if you would like to explore finding your inner voice that has been muted in some way, I am inviting you today to click on the QR code and book in a free 45-minute consultation with me. And if you're not into QR codes, my website is there and you can have a browse at my programs and connect with me in that way. I would love to answer any questions that you have, but I want you to take this message away that your voice counts. You have a message that the world deserves to hear. And if I can help in any way unlock that, then I would be delighted. And there are lots of speakers this afternoon who are also going to help you do that. So my real invitation is that when you finish watching our mini summit today, is to take one action that is going to take you a step forward into releasing your voice and telling your story a little louder than you have up until now. Thank you so much for listening and watching.
That is really, truly, truly beautiful. Essentially, what we are talking about today is owning your voice, using the power of hypnosis to own your voice. It is fundamentally important that in this world that we live in, we are able to also express ourselves, say it the way we see it, the way we understand it, from our perspective. This is not only helping us, but it helps also the world that we live in. It helps the community that we are living around. It helps to add more value to humanity. So thank you so very much. I appreciate that. So the question is, by yourself, you want to get yourself into a state of hypnosis. Tell the audience, how would you do that?
Okay, well, I think Zen has just given us an example of that when he invited us to do a short exercise and invited us to put our fingertips together and try to feel our heartbeat through our fingers, and we can quite often feel a pulse there. So straight away, we have taken ourselves from a place of maybe thinking, oh, well, when this finishes, I've got to do X, Y, and Z. I've got another meeting, I've got another call. But straight away, by doing something simple, like just putting our fingertips in touch with each other, we are creating a state of relaxation, because you can't do this with in a gentle way whilst you're being tense, and you can't try and find a pulse or a heartbeat whilst you are distracted and your mind is elsewhere. So that is a really good example, actually. So it can just be as simple as being aware that your mind is shooting off in all different directions, but you want to or need to go inside, and is just to focus on one thing. For clients who've worked with me, I work with them to create anchors. So a similar gesture to the one Zen described is finger and thumb, the pads of your finger and thumb just touching gently, and that will connect my client to a safe space that they have created in a therapy session with me. So that just makes it easier to do. But by closing your eyes, or by just thinking about your feet, and it's a technique that I share with people who are struggling with panic attacks or anxiety. I will just say, okay, just whether they're sitting or standing, I'll suggest that they just think about their feet and encourage them to explore. Are their feet feeling warm, cold, just right? Can you feel your socks or the leather of your shoes? Can you feel any micro movements of pulse? So that is another version of self-hypnosis. It's just a way that we can encourage ourselves to come away from the busyness, the external world, and go inside to do whatever we need to do there.
Thank you so much for that. All right, before I move to Natasha just now, I have another question for you, Amanda. Now, in my place, it is said that it means that only the person who do not have head is the one who do not know what is headache. If you have headache, if you have head, you should understand what is headache. You don't need to do a lot to explain that. By that, I mean, you were saying just now when the mind is shooting to different direction. And this is something that a lot of people have. Sometimes it is frightening to some. Sometimes some other person don't understand it. So I want you to say something to that effect. Is it something that is normal or abnormal for you to have all these different thoughts that are going on in your mind? And so say something about that to sort of help people see, because everybody, like I said, everybody feel this, at least in my own case.
Yes, yeah, I would say so. At least at some point in our lives, we all know what it's like to have this frantic mind and thoughts shooting off here, there, and everywhere. And obviously, there are some people whose brains are wired in a way that this is how they roll. And I'm thinking about people who have ADHD or ADD, for example, very scattered thoughts, and that can make calming down or having logical, rational thoughts and in a linear progression more difficult than for others. But yeah, it is a totally normal state of mind, and not to panic about it, because it is natural. But we can just do some very simple things, as we've just mentioned, in order to create a little bit of calm and space. And I think what we've all been talking about this afternoon is harnessing the stillness of what is within, in order just to be able to regroup and to decide what is our next step going to be. So certainly don't worry about having these moments, these frantic moments. And sometimes we need that. Sometimes we want to be firing off ideas and brainstorming even with ourselves. So there can be a value to that. But it's okay. And we can do something simple, like just touch our finger and thumb, touch our fingers, think about our feet, or just look at the sky, look at the clouds, and allow our breathing to slow. And even if we do that for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or a little bit longer, but even a very short time, studies have shown that benefits, that does slow down the franticness within our mind, and that can help us just reset a little bit and get ready to be more productive or to feel calmer in a very short space of time.
When you are in story, you need to be authentic in the story that you are telling. So now my question, my curiosity is, how will hypnosis help one to tell a better story? Please share with us maybe some of your strategies to be able to achieve that using the power of hypnosis.
Okay. So yeah, the message I wanted to get over was that things in our past can stop us from telling our authentic story can mean that if we've experienced trauma or some form of abuse, then we keep our voice or keep our true voice inside, and we say what the person or people around us want us to say, or we try and second guess that. So when we are working through healing the wounds and what happened to us in the past, this gives us the power to speak our truth and to use our authentic voice. So it's a question of knowing that within each and every one of us, we have an authentic voice. We have a set of beliefs and values that are unique and true to us. In order to communicate authentically and effectively in business, then we need to tap into that voice, not a masked voice that we are using in order just to keep safe. So we use hypnosis to bypass the conscious, critical layer of thinking, to be able to go inside, to be able to release that voice and understand in the core of ourselves that it's safe now for us to speak our truth. So that's how we are able to access our authentic voice. Does that answer your question, Obehi?
Absolutely, it does. It does. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. What are maybe the best instrument hypnotically to be able to uncover your inner voice? I mean, to discover your inner voice and use it within the area of business. But what are the instruments you will use to be able to unlock that? Help us.
So I think a lot has been said today about creating a safe space for yourself and for others. And I think doing whatever work is necessary to remind yourself that now you are safe, whatever may have happened in the past that affected your authentic voice and your ability to speak your truth and to have your words and actions aligned with your beliefs and your values and your products and your services in business. So doing what you need to feel safe, to remember that you are safe, and to remember that if you ensure that you are in alignment with all those things, and all those things are in alignment within you, you are in the right place to connect authentically with other people, and you can then become aligned with your customers and your clients. So you're creating flow by having a safe space for yourself, by that self-talk and self-hypnosis, remembering the value of your voice, your right to speak, and it just creates that flow within yourself and between you and other people, so that when you're in this flow state, you are going to connect with your ideal clients. You are going to be in a position to serve your clients and your customers in the way you are destined to, in the way they need you to show up. So it all starts with that safe space, self-talk, and remembering that we all have value and we all have a right to that voice and to sharing that value, each and every one of us. So it's self-talk is at the core of all of this.
Thank you so much for that, Amanda. What would be your final take here? Say maybe you want to give an advice to the person that have listened to your lecture to this very point in it. Maybe a message you want to leave him or her with. Or maybe you want to remind them again what to do as a call to action, more or less. Please go ahead and be brief.
Okay, so I would simply want to reiterate really what I've just said, and that to anybody watching and listening to this, please know your value. You have a value and you have a right to express that. Just be you. You are enough as you are.
Thank you so much, Amanda, and I appreciate you.